1, 2. Okay, come back with the hook. Okay. Slip, slip, slip.
When you look at how Teofimo Lopez is training for Shakur Stevenson, you can tell this camp isn't about explosions anymore. It's about controlling his own instincts. And the wild bursts, the early surges, those aren't the plan now. Goal is survival, restraint, and discipline. Everything points to one uncomfortable truth Teofimo is being forced to accept. Blowing up early doesn't beat Shakur. It just makes you tired in high definition. So the work is ugly on purpose. Long pressure rounds with no hiding behind big...
That I wasn't good enough. I believe it was just the fact that I was so hard on myself.
There you go. 7. There you go. You're on another level, baby. You gotta relax now. You gotta hold your breath. Go ahead, baby. Okay.
Big moments, constant movement, constant punches. Throwing even when your legs are begging for mercy. No highlights, just grind. The biggest adjustment is breaking the habit of cutting the ring. Firing one missile and admiring it like a fireworks show. Shakur eats that alive. Now it's smaller steps, shorter punches, and combinations that don't look flat.
I could always succeed to another level with it, you know, and exceed to it. So it's really just trying to just keep it going, you know, keep moving forward throughout the whole time and throughout the whole process, and mainly just have fun with it. You know, you gotta have fun with what you do. You know, I love this. You know, I haven't stopped doing what I've done because of the fact that I enjoy what I do. You know, this has been 20 years in the making.
Flashy, but actually do damage over time, even when they land on arms and shoulders. And yeah, that sounds boring until you realize blocked punches still steal space. Still close exits, still disrupt rhythm. The footwork drills almost look comical if you love Teofimo's highlight jumps, because the rule is simple: no leaping. Just inch forward, relentless, patient, unavoidable. Mentally, this camp may be harder than any weight cut. Teofimo has to stop thinking knockout and start thinking rounds. It's like telling a sports car to enjoy traffic. He's being trained to change tempo, press without throwing, throw without pressing, and make Shakur uncomfortable without giving him anything clean. The early rounds are treated like gold. It's not because he needs a finish, but because he needs to disrupt confidence before control sets in.
You know, had most of the belts, defeated Lomachenko. You know, he did suffer the upset loss to Kambosos. There were some physical issues there that we didn't know about going into the fight, not to make excuses.
The real test isn't whether Teofimo can hurt Shakur. It's whether he can stay calm when it doesn't work immediately. If he chases a moment, he loses. If he accepts being disciplined, messy, and stubborn, he gives himself a real chance. And right after breaking down Teofimo's camp, turning him from a highlight hunter into a pressure accountant, Dan Raphael steps in and reminds us why this fight feels heavier than tactics on a whiteboard. Don says something people overlook when they get lost in hot takes. Teofimo has a long history of rising when the moment is real. He didn't sparkle after Kambosos. He didn't always look sharp. But when Josh Taylor stood across from him with real stakes, Teofimo locked in and delivered. That matters. Big nights have a way of waking certain fighters up. At the same time, Dan points out that Shakur's resume quietly tells the same story. When pressure screamed that he was boring, Shakur answered by standing in the pocket with Zapata and shutting the narrative down.
Extraordinary talents. Extraordinary talents. Shakur, oh my God, flawless. Don't telegraph his punches. They come right out the holster. They come right out the clip. You got Teofimo, who's extremely athletic. He reminds me of Roy Jones. You never know what he's going to do. And it's kind of hard to train for.
Dan framed it without hype, and that's what makes it hit. We act like these guys don't deliver, but every time expectations peak, both of them adjust instead of folding. When Dan talks about their shared history, top rank, the Olympics, Crawford undercards, this stops feeling like a random matchup and starts feeling inevitable. Two timelines finally colliding. And when he mentions Madison Square Garden, it hits differently. New York doesn't reward nonsense. It rewards control and composure. That environment will either sharpen Teofimo's pressure or suffocate it. Dan isn't selling drama, he's selling context. And context is dangerous because it removes excuses. No weird location, no travel fatigue, no novelty crowd. It's just two elite fighters, 5 minutes from home, fighting where reputations stick. We argue styles, but Dan is quietly saying this is about credibility. When the lights are unforgiving, history doesn't care about preferences. It only remembers who showed up. Right after Dan frames this as legacy, location, and timing.
Your possessors, you're gonna break them up. You're gonna break them up. You can't beat what you can't hit. You can't. It is impossible. That boy ain't nothing to f around with.
Right.
Poor boy, he's selling out of the Matrix Part 3. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. He you know what I'm saying? He pulling shit away and hit you with. Well, come on. I'm loving him. He's dope. I mean, I always.
Lonnie B jumps in and rips the conversation out of the press row comfort zone. His angle isn't resumes, it's unpredictability. Lonnie calls Shakur flawless. Punches leaving the holster with no tells. That sounds clean, but it carries pressure. Flawless fighters don't get forgiveness when things go sideways. At the same time, Lonnie hammers the point that Teofimo is athletic in a way you can't script. Roy Jones energy. Anything dash can dash, happen dash, ed dash, any dash second energy. That's where this fight stops being tidy. Lonnie keeps saying you never know which Teofimo shows up, not as an excuse, but as a warning. The version that rose against Josh Taylor didn't ask permission, he took the night. When Lonnie says Teofimo fights to the level of his competition, it lands because
Taylor.
Okay.
Look what he did to Josh Taylor. Oh my God. I mean, just playing with him. Just hitting him with big shots, just doing whatever he wants, styling on him. So you can never count Teo out. You can never count Teo out, man. He's, like I said, an extraordinary talent, but so is Shakur. I do think Shakur can't lay on the ropes like he do. I think Shakur he got to be a lot more active this fight. Because once you let Teo get in this groove, he's a
Shakur forces you to either level up or look ordinary in slow motion. Lonnie also slips in something crucial. Shakur can't afford to relax on the ropes here. Once Teofimo gets comfortable, he becomes a moving problem with confidence attached. That's not fear talk, that's rhythm talk. What really sticks is Lonnie refusing to pick a winner. Calls it a coin flip, not because he's unsure, but because he sees this as a will fight disguised as skill. This isn't about who looks prettier technically. It's about who has that Jordan, Kobe mindset, I'm not losing tonight. Both guys are elite, both are special. Only one will impose their will when comfort disappears. That's why Lonnie doesn't blink at 50-50. That's
Freddie McGirt says it has to happen in the Garden. What do you think?
100%. That only makes sense. That only makes sense. That's a Garden 100% fight. Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. That's all of New Jersey, because Shakur represents more than Newark. You know, he was the whole New Jersey and then the whole New York clashing in New York City. I like it at the bottom.
His dismantle. That tells you how confident he is in Shakur's control when styles clash this clean. You can debate power, explosiveness, and moments. Zob saying moments don't matter if access is denied. If Teofimo can't touch him, everything else is noise. Stack it all together, and the picture becomes clear. Teofimo is training to fight his instincts. Shakur is built to punish them. Yeah, Don framed it as legacy and timing. Lonnie framed it as will versus unpredictability. Zob reduced it to access and control. This isn't hype versus hate. It's discipline colliding with volatility under the brightest lights possible. Every round asks the same quiet question: who stays themselves when the plan starts wobbling? That's why this fight never feels settled. It lives in margins, patience, and moments that don't announce themselves. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Really debate it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bloodline Boxing. See you in the next one.